excuses and why you're not losing weight. Some of these excuses I've used, and I know a lot of people use them, especially being a personal trainer, trying to get people into the gym. These are the excuses that I hear all the time as well. I've got seven of them right here, and the first one, what? I'll run through all of them real quick, and then we'll go over them one by one. The first one I got is waiting for the right time. You don't know how to do it. You don't have time to do it. You don't have the money to do it. You think that maybe your significant other or someone else in your like tight knit circle will say no or won't support you. Um, Maybe you're embarrassed, and the final one is I'm spending too much time on myself, and I could be using that time for being with my kids or being with my family or whatnot. Um, so we're gonna go over the first one, which I think is the most important, and it's the excuse of like waiting for the right time. A lot of people will always be like, "Oh, I'll just start next week." Um, well, next week comes around, and then they're busy. They don't have the right schedule, and they're like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'll push it back a week, or I'll start another day." Realistically, they'll just push it back 4 months, 5, 6, a year goes by, and they don't start whatsoever. And that's what I think the number one reason people won't try to lose weight. The next reason I think they like people don't go to the gym is because they don't know how. I mean, um, I was taught this in school, and then I think I've known just even before I was taught that that like to lose weight, you just eat less and you move more. Pretty simple. So I mean, you don't even have to go to the gym. You could literally just eat less. You can try to count your calories if you want. And then you just get up and go for a walk or go to the park. Do something that gets you physically active. um, there's a lot of places that you can learn how to train. YouTube, just like this video. You can go over to some of my stuff or anyone else's to learn what exercises to do and how to do them properly. You can also research what exercises to group together, how many sets and reps you need to do. So it's not. I think everyone knows what to do. It's just you're not taking the time to do it. Mentioning time, the next one is I don't have enough time. A lot of times you can find ways to have time. I know a lot of people. I mean, currently I'm watching a podcast. Well, not currently, but before this, I was watching a podcast, and there is a bike in the living room. Could I be biking while watching the podcast? Yes. Or I could go on my phone and look at the amount of apps um, that I can scroll in the app settings and see what apps are taking up most of my time, and then trying to be like, do I need to go on this app? Because some people need to go on like their um, Google account because of work, or they have different games or whatever that kills their time. They'll rack up a bunch of time, or you can go into your settings on like YouTube, um, and be like, oh, I'm wasting too much time on this stuff, and there's where you can find your time. You can also structure your day. You plan it out so that you can forcefully put in a time slot to exercise, and then I don't necessarily recommend organizing your day around your eating schedule, but I mean, you can do that. Just because I personally just like eating whenever I'm hungry. So I don't necessarily like scheduling out when I'm gonna eat. The next one up, you think your family or friends or people will discourage you and not support you in hitting a goal like weight loss. At the end of the day, if they don't do that and they're not like, hey, yeah, go to the gym, or they're trying to hold you back from doing that, like, oh man, just go hit the gym tomorrow. Let's go do this thing. I know we've got a community event happening in our town, and a lot of people are going there. And there's food vendors, music, the bars are open. I'm not saying don't go to that, but if you're there and also you're trying to lose weight, it's gonna be harder for you to not drink or eat an excess amount of calories by going there. So you can say no, and I'm trying to like for me having people around me say, "Hey, don't try to achieve a goal," isn't really a problem, and I've never actually tried to be around people that stop me from doing what I want. Well, not in a bad way. More of like, hey, I understand you can't come. You just got to do this for you. Um, so trying to surround yourself with people who understand and will let you go do your own stuff is always a good way to, or not good way, but it's always a good thing to have. The next one, a lot of people give this excuse, but I don't think it's honestly too important um to the list. That's why it's kind of at the tail end. Is the whole like I don't have money thing, because if you really budgeted yourself down, you could probably scrape together enough money to go to a gym. I'm not saying you have to get a personal trainer or anything, but in the long run, if you pay the money up front to be healthier, you'll save money on the tail end. For example, excuse me. Oh, we're doing it live. I got you to laugh. Yeah. Yep. um. Anyways, so you're spending money in the beginning to save money at the end. Me being younger and paying money um to have healthy things. I'm actually lucky. I don't have to pay for the gym membership. The gym owner was cool with me being there. And I train people there, so they technically have to get a membership. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm pretty lucky that I don't have to pay. But I still do pay for some supplements, um, some workout gear, that sort of stuff. So I can, scrape some money to get that, but you don't have to. You can just get the membership, or honestly, don't go to a gym and just go for some walks. Go to your local, park. Um, at your house, maybe if you got a tree outside, use that as a pull-up bar, or maybe a door. I don't know, maybe not a door frame, but you can always get a bike. They're pretty accessible. I know on like Facebook, people give away stuff all the time, so check out Marketplace for that sort of stuff. Um, the money part. What else did I want to say? Oh, like if you're worrying about the money to get a gym membership and a personal trainer, or one or the other, if you're trying to lose weight, wouldn't you think that you would be eating less, which means you're spending less money on food? On top of that, you're not going out to eat as much at restaurants, so you're not spending money on that. And I know like Uber Eats sometimes just getting one meal and the fees and all of the stuff that comes with it. I mean, $30 per meal, and if you're having three of those a day, I mean that adds up. And if you don't have to do that anymore because you're cooking your own meals, you're going and buying food from, say, like Aldi's or Costco or something, you're gonna be able to save the money to at least be able to scrounge what, $50 at most to have a gym membership. And like you don't even need to really go to a fancy gym. Planet Fitness is fine, and that's 15 a month. So, do you want to pay now, $15 a month, or do you want to pay later when you're 62 and in a hospital because you ended up with some type of disease, or do you want to pay later when you are 60 some years old, you fall down, break an arm because you're not strong enough to support yourself, or just strong enough to be able to walk, without possibly falling down the stairs or whatever. So you're gonna pay for your health one way or another. So would you rather pay up front and have it be reasonably cheaper than paying later and having it be more expensive? Um, Number six, most people don't go to the gym because they are embarrassed. This goes to the second one of like you don't know what to do. Most of the time, you don't have to be embarrassed because people at the gym were once at a hard point in their life of I was a not me in general, but like people in general, they could be that heftier person that lost a bunch of weight and they're still going to the gym. They could be that really skinny person, um, and they didn't like how they looked because they were so skinny, and they added some muscle mass to them. People at the gym are usually kind-hearted and will help you out sometimes if you don't know what to do. Now, of course, don't take everything they have to say at heart, um, or take it with a little grain of salt. But for the most part, people at the gym are pretty helpful. And even if you're too shy to ask people for help or ask them what to do, some of the machines have descriptions of how to perform the exercise on them. So look out for that. And yeah, don't be embarrassed to go. And the final thing is, you're thinking that using the time for yourself is selfish, and that you could be spending it with family members, your kids, your whoever. You could be spending time elsewhere. Um, I mean, this kind of goes to the thing about like you could kind of use the analogy of money in this as like, would you rather spend the time now to get healthy so that later in life you don't have to spend as how do I oops how do I want to word this? It's easier to maintain health than it is to start, right? It's harder to push a boulder than to keep it moving. Um, right? Or like you have a loaded shopping cart and it takes a while to give it an oomph, but once the momentum's going, you don't have to give it as much of a push to keep it going. And that's the same thing in fitness. um I know, so, like sometimes I've stopped and started and I've always hated it, um because my muscles got to get used to it again. I have to, maybe I got a little bigger and heftier and I gotta lose the weight, or maybe I lost some muscle mass and now I gotta add it back on. It's always just easier to get fit and then maintain it, because maybe you need to go 5 6 times a week just to lose the weight, but then after that you only gotta go to the gym 3 times a week, or be somewhat physically active less often. So again, I would take the time now to get fit rather than later, because later, when you're older, it is harder to then lose weight because your metabolism has slowed down, your ability to gain muscle mass has slowed down, and it just gets harder with age. So yeah, that's my 7 excuses of why people don't go to the gym, and how to think about the excuses to actually, go and have a good time in the gym. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.